A band bassist Michael Rhodes. How are you, Michael?
I'm doing fine.
I just saw a Miles Davis documentary. I don't know why you just reminded me of that.
Take that one out of your mouth, John. All right, it's an old anecdote.
It's great. You know, we've kind of bumped into each other, NAMM, Summer NAMM, wherever it is. I see how this is going to go. But I'm really glad we're able to sit down and you managed to squeeze a little time for us to do this interview. So let's talk about you. You've got an interesting story. You've played with so many people, mostly country people, but some not so country people too. Steve Winwood, Elton John, and
everybody comes from a country.
That's true.
So there's that. No, I've been really lucky. I've been, to be at the right place at the right time. With a lot of these situations, man. It's been very fortunate. Yeah.
Well, if you can give us like the Reader's Digest version. I know you started in Louisiana, spent some time in Austin, went to Memphis, and then back to wherever you went, and then you started and your career got rolling. Tell me about your initial exposure to music and how you became a bass player.
Oh, man. Guitars and movies. No, I was fascinated by the soundtracks of those things, the field recordings and stuff like that. Even when I was a little bitty kid, with the drums, drove me nuts, and the chanting and all that kind of stuff. So it was like, oh man. And then it was just osmosis. My mother, nobody in my family for generations probably were musical, but there was always music in the house. Records playing, radio, that kind of stuff, and in that time period, and also my neighbor. The two sons, the two neighborhood sons there, turned me on to Jerry Lee Lewis and Elvis Presley back in the 50s. They got a little bit older than I was, so I got the bug early on. And then of course the surf music and that and all just music in the air.
Okay.
Yeah.
What attracted you to the bass?
The rhythm, the bottom strings. Just that's what I always heard. Even when I got an acoustic guitar when I was about 11 years old or something like that. But I always played on the bottom strings. I just liked the sound of it, So it was always bass. Okay.
Did you start listening to music differently after you discovered the bass and picking out the bass and maybe even noticing or taking the initiative to find out who the bass players were on those recordings?
Well, yeah, I did. It did change the way I listened. As it would, because I'm trying to figure out how, to be a better bass player, and so I'm kind of honing in on all that. And yeah, I was interested in who was doing it, and it was harder back then to figure it out, so it was all, as soon as the self-contained groups started coming out, the Beatles and obviously, all that kind of stuff, that was easy, you knew who that was. But on the records, a lot of the records that I liked, pop music especially, and R&B, you didn't know.
I'm waiting for James Jamerson's name to come up here.
James Jamerson, obviously,
About what would be about a mile away from from where all that magic happened.
Yeah, the right?
Hitsville, USA.
Yeah, I know. So Jamerson, obviously, and then Tommy Cogbill. I always have to mention him because Cogbill was a Southern Jamerson to me. With his approach to it. And then David Hood, and those cats, and Norb Putnam, and of course, in the LA people, that once I figured that out, there's Carol Kay and Joe Osborne, and that generation, Ray Pullman, and all that. They were brilliant.
So how did the career get rolling? As I mentioned, you played with so many people. Oh, and I didn't mention that you were on the list of the 100 greatest bass players of all time by Bass Player magazine. What a distinction.
Oh, I know.
Well deserved.
Well, thanks. I didn't see that one coming, but I'll take it. Yeah. As far as a career, I played in a number of bands growing up. So a lot of cover bands. Playing in Louisiana circuit. Chicken wire clubs, all that kind of stuff. So I had to learn how to play a lot of different kinds of music.
Excuse me, what's a chicken wire club?
It's to protect.
Tell this Detroit boy.
Oh, the chicken wire club is it has wire in the front of the stage to protect the band from bottles and things being thrown at them.
I'll come you back on here, and if you're new, consider subscribing and also like the video. Now, the very sad news coming in is that another legendary bassist and of course session musician, that is Michael Rhodes, who was inducted into the Musicians Hall of Fame, that was in around 2018-2019, has reportedly passed away at the age of 69. Very, very devastating news indeed. So of course the representative for the Rhodes family has come out to confirm his death to Billboard. Rhodes passed away, according to the reports, at his home in Nashville, Tennessee. That was on Saturday morning on the 4th of March. And of course, in this exact moment in time, no cause of death has been given yet during the time when I'm making this video. The legend Rhodes was really multi-talented, a man who played bass and so many other instruments. And according to his legacy, life and biography, he was born in Monroe, Louisiana in 1953. And at the age of 11, he taught himself to play guitar, which he began playing professionally actually before taking up another instrument known as the bass. So after stints living in Austin, Memphis, that is in Tennessee, he would actually join in Nashville in 1977, and according to his friends, he joined the local rock band that was Nav and Tree Publishing's house, a demo band, and it was there that he got what he called a great crash course. A great crash course in the art of playing a song and what was needed for a song. And according to what he said in one of the interviews he held back then, he said that it was really inspirational joining in that area, and of course joining in amongst those guys who were already experienced within the music scene during that time. Excuse me. So he went on to have a prolific career in session work, playing a couple of award-winning songs. A case in point, Sunny Came Home, that was in the I think in the middle of the 90s, that was around 1996. And of course, he also featured in and played on another legendary song, How Do I Live? And his incredibly long list of credits includes, of course, recordings for Willie Nelson, Etta James, Mark Knopfler, Alan Jackson, Steve Nicks, Brian Willison, John Stones, and so many other talented artists. So losing such a legendary artist is really very heartbreaking. And of course, in this moment in time, all we are going to do is to continue praying for his family, friends, the fans, and of course everyone who was really touched by the works of the legend Mr. Rhodes. Rest in power, the king, Mr. Rhodes.